lights burning brighter somewhere. Got to be birds flying higher in a sky more blue.
Good morning. Welcome to Right Thinking with Steve Coplon. I'm your host, Steve Coplon, and thank you for tuning in. Let's have a great day.
Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad to be here with you today. It is absolutely another gorgeous day. Yesterday was just a picture-perfect day, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I had a wonderful day yesterday. I had a chance to see my New York Yankees play the Baltimore Orioles in Baltimore, and it was an exciting game, and the Yankees won, but more important, I was with family, and I have a couple nieces and nephews that are just absolutely adorable. Actually, they're my great nieces and nephew, and it was like what we're all supposed to be doing, is just enjoying family on a beautiful day, watching a ball game. Well, last week we had Johnny Thomas was my guest, and I hope that some of you were able to make it all the way to the end. I have to thank Johnny for being on the show and sharing himself with us. It was a little difficult. It was his first time, and he was a little nervous, and we got past that. But I encourage you to listen to at least the last 15 minutes, because Johnny finally got comfortable, and the things that Johnny said, they just touched my heart. My wife listened to it, and she said anybody that heard Johnny talk, they just have to want to see Johnny succeed. And so I just really appreciate that. I love Johnny. And so what we're going to do today, though, is 4 weeks ago, March the 13th, rather, I had Dave Richards was our guest. And it was just a wonderful show. And that show was mostly all about the importance of being connected with other people and then getting that first job. And so I told you I was going to bring Dave back, and in a moment I'm going to introduce him. But let me just tell you this, rightthink.org. If you want to know more about right thinking and the topics that we're talking about, go to the website, rightthink.org, and you can check out a lot of materials that are there. Go back into the archives and hear some previous shows. But I just want to point this out to you. On today's show, if you want to go to the website, look up the Right Thinking Foundation overview and working with at-risk youth. And those two documents will help you follow up deeper with what we're going to talk about today. Well, I listened to Jeff's show this morning like I do every Monday morning, and I got to tell you, Jeff talked about how we just got to sit back and take a deep breath. And I want to thank Jeff for saying that, because that's how I get through. I do a lot of soul searching all the time, and I have some things that I'm going to talk to Dave about, but it's so, so important to recognize that we can't solve all of the world's problems, but we each can do certain things so that we can make a contribution to making the world a better place. And that's going to be kind of part of my theme today with Dave. So I'd like to introduce my friend, a mentor of mine, just a person who cares about other people, Dave Richards. Are you there, Dave?
Yeah, I'm here, Steve. Thanks for the kind words, and it's a pleasure to be back on the show.
Well, Dave, I got to tell you, you add so much to the show. Just knowing that you're going to be coming on board to help move things forward, every now and then. I really thank you for doing that. Dave, I want to get started right away. There's some things that are going on that are really, really important. And I wake up in the morning usually about 4 or 4:30, and I'm not ready to get up, but my mind's already going about 400 miles an hour. And the other morning I woke up, and I was doing just a real meditative type of a series of thoughts. And I got to thinking, who am I to think that what I talk about, people should listen? That was my opening thought at 4 o'clock in the morning. And then if I get to where I can answer that and feel that, well, I do have something worthwhile that I want to help have other people listen to, then the next thought was, well, if I'm going to try to get people to listen to me, are there going to be other people out there that want to be supportive that encourage me to keep doing what I do? And then the worst part came up was this. Who am I to think that if I really want to help other people, and a lot of those people, they don't even realize that they ought to change the way they are and receive other people's help? Who am I to force myself on those people? And so these are the kind of things that, when I'm tired and not quite awake yet, go through my head. And what I'm answering is basically this. I care about other people. I want to make the world a better place. You're like that too, Dave. And so what I really want to do is this. I want to just keep doing what I do and having other people like you be with me to go after that mission. And what I want to start you off with, Dave, and this will help you get into what we're talking about. There's 2 words that I like to talk about: initiative and inertia. So, Dave, as you go into your conversation with me today, I want you to talk about how we take people, how we want to take people, why we feel like it's okay for us to take people that are suffering through inertia in life and help them get some movement forward and show personal initiative. How about that one to get you started, Dave?
Oh, boy. So when you started talking about inertia, I'm now thinking back to my high school physics class, trying to think, what the heck is inertia? Boy, that's an interesting topic. So this is not at all where I thought we'd going, but I think it's a great topic to start on. So let me talk about something personal. Just really, this is such a minor thing, but I think everyone would agree that something like exercise is important. And getting out and staying in a little bit better shape and getting your heart going. And I've told this story to my boys, my sons, and my wife, and I literally have to do this about every day to myself. Is most days I don't really want to jump out and put on, hit the road and go for a walk or a run if my energy is low. And I know that about myself. And yet every day I do it. Every day I get out and I get some exercise. And because at that time when I don't feel like it, I intellectually know I should do it. But still, my initiative is low, the inertia is low, I'm just tired. And what I found a long, long time ago, probably back in my, 19, 20, 21 years old, I realized this game, and I do it. I've been doing this for 40 years to myself. I literally say to myself, okay, you don't have to go run. You don't have to go out. You don't have to go do it. Just go put on your sneakers. But you don't have to go run. And I go put my sneakers on, and then I change. And the whole time I'm going through this, I'm saying, but you don't have to do it. And then all of a sudden I look up and I'm actually in my exercise clothes. I got my sneakers on, and I'm still saying to myself, but Dave, you don't have to do it. But just keep going through this process. And then I go, well, you don't have to go for a long one. Just walk outside. And I then go outside and I start, and when I get 100 or 200 yards out into the fresh air, I feel like going further. And that sounds crazy, and it's an absolute true story. I probably have to do that every other time I get exercise. Now, someone from the outside looking in says, wow, look how disciplined this guy is. He does it every day. And the truth is, it's a struggle every day. Almost every day I have to go through this routine of getting me out the door. But as soon as I get out the door, I'm so glad I'm there, and I know that. So I only say that is because we as humans are funny beings, and we have to find these triggers to get us to do things that we know are right. Well, at least I'm speaking for myself. I'm a funny being, and I have to find triggers that allow me to get started on something. And once I get started, I almost always like the process and like what I'm doing. But maybe some people are born with that gene where they just jump up in the morning and they head out the door and they do everything that's right and good and for all the right reasons. But I don't think that's most people. Most of us have to kind of find these triggers that help us get going.
Oh, that's good, Dave. That's good. So I talked to you a little bit, in preparation for the show, and I know that you listened to last week's show with Johnny, and that we both want to continue encouraging Johnny and others like him, including myself, because I'm like Johnny myself, and keep putting that best foot forward. Johnny actually told me that one of the things that I said on the show that he really liked is exactly what you just said. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. So yeah, your answer was very, very good, Dave. So let me ask you a question. What did you think about the interview with Johnny?
So I thought it was terrific. I think you had a few sound issues you guys were working through, and I can appreciate that. But and again, your point earlier where you said you really ought to listen to the last 15 or 20 minutes, I agree. I mean, and it had nothing actually interesting to do with the sound, and I thought what Johnny had to say early on was great, and the notion of what he has a clear goal in mind, and that was my takeaway. He says, I want to get a job, I'd like to be a programmer, I'd like to have a roof over my head, I'd like to have a car, and that's, it has to start there. It has to start with something you want to accomplish that gets you motivated, and he clearly has that, which is great. And now he needs. There's a little bit of beeping going on. Is that me?
No, I don't know. I'm not hearing it.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, but anyway, I apologize for that. And so he's getting going. He's starting the process, and I think there's a whole bunch of avenues. He just needs to get a little bit of help, but he needs to help himself, and he needs to see that there's avenues open for him, and he needs to take the initiative, to your point, and take the lead. But there's people around like you and others that will help if he can figure out how to embrace them.
Let me say this. When I say that I'm like Johnny, I am more like Johnny, just like Johnny, than what a lot of people know. I go through a constant struggle in life to keep moving forward and overcome a lot of obstacles, a lot of hardship. And one of the things that I'm doing, if you go to the website and go to the document that I pointed out, the one that says Right Thinking Foundation Overview, I talk about the process there, or at least I lay out the process. My program that I try to do to help people move forward in life and have a better life, I always say that the actual tools that they need, that's the easiest part once they're ready to receive the tools, when they've made up their mind that they want to move forward. The process is on that document: love, trust, respect, listen, desire to change, then provide the tools. So I'd like people to go there, but here's what I'm saying. I feel that I'm very misunderstood sometimes because the world has a way of doing things the same old way all the time. And with Johnny and bringing Johnny on the show, a lot of people really didn't understand what it is that Johnny and I are doing on the show. So I want to say a few things about that. To start off with, everybody's always saying, hey, Steve, instead of just talking about things, maybe you could have people